Hello, hello, hello. Let me turn my heater off. Hi, it's me, Camila Rose, and guess what? I'm here recording our week 23 wrap up for 185 Insane. And you know what that means. Let's get into the vlog, which is very short because it was Thanksgiving and my family was here. But let's get into the footage that I do have. I'll see y'all in a little bit. Good morning. This is the first time you all are seeing me since last week. I did not record at all on Sunday. I think I got a couple of shots that I put in from my sound bath that I did Sunday night. I was so tired on Sunday. Saturday, I think I talked about this a little bit. I don't even know if I finished Saturdays from last vlog. Saturday, I went and hung out with my friend. We went over to the plot twist, all of the author girlies and the reader girlies, all of the crew was there. It was such a good time. It was such a fun hangout. And it was about 9 something when I started to just be falling out, ready to go home, ready to go to bed. And I was like, this is so funny. But one of the really cool things about it is, actually I need to put my, you all know, we're having our morning drink. Oh, I realized that I had achieved one of my goals that was listed on my long list of 185 Insane, which was to make author friends. And now I'm realizing I needed to expand that goal. It shouldn't have just been author friends. It should have been reading friends. It should have been book friends. It should have been book friends. Authors, readers, anyone who enjoys being in a bookish space. I needed friends who appreciated that. And I realized I made that happen. That has happened. It's so wild to think about. And it wasn't a goal that I was intentionally working towards. But by doing the other goals of writing consistently, of going to author events and writing events and bookish events, I found myself in the community with the people. And so I found myself making connections with the people and thus developing friendships with these individuals. So I feel really good about that. And now I'm kind of okay, because one area for 2026 I want to focus a little bit more is I want to get more into the kind of health and wellness space in Dallas. I enjoy working out. I enjoy taking classes. I enjoy, seeing what my body will do. I want to be in those spaces with those types of people who are into challenging themselves and then, love a good recovery moment, going and doing a cold plunge or something like that just allows us to really kind of connect to each other and connect to our bodies in a different way. So I'm all right, we're going to have to do for, I don't even know if that's fitness. I think that's the other part where I'm I don't know how to categorize that. But I want to be more in those spaces, maybe take more Pilates classes, places. I do need to actually take the ballet classes that I have. And do more dance classes, just try new things. in different places that are physically engaging. So that's going to be one of the goals for 2026. That's going to be the area. And then I want to make friends who that's what they like. And what's interesting about that is I technically already have friends who are like that. Because Nikki, the yoga studio owner, she will get up and she will go take a class anywhere in Dallas. And then one of the other yoga teachers, Brittany, who is amazing. She's phenomenal. This girl, she is on ClassPass and she will sign up for anything, anywhere. That girl will be like, I'm in Dallas, doing this class, a yoga class, a meditation class, a sound bath. And she does all these things too. Well, and that's the thing. So she'll be like, oh, I'm taking the class. And then she'll be like, oh, and I'm teaching this afternoon. And I'm like, girl, you got to be that generator type. You have to have that energy because the drive and then like getting up and the being involved and then going to teach. I'm like, that's a little much for me, but I would like to have a little bit more like activity and a little bit more action and just a little bit more like involvement there. I'm also thinking, I want to get more into the weight training just because I know how good it is for your body, for maintaining your muscle mass, calcium, hormone regulation. And I don't have, okay, so we're going to get into like some women things. But I've never had any issues with my reproductive organs, hormones. I have never had really painful periods. I don't get migraines really or headaches. All of my stuff comes from my sinuses, which if we dip into the spiritual side of things, it's a whole different ball game. But mine have never been because of anything related to like my period or my hormones or my reproductive organs. All of that stuff honestly runs like clockwork. Now I do have a very short cycle. I think I've talked about this before. I'm on like the very end of like the shortest amount of a cycle. I think mine is 24 days total. If you go from like start of period to next period. And so it is very like, it is not like it's not like a 29-day cycle or a 30-day cycle. Now it is in the normal range. It's just on the shorter end. And it is, when I tell you it is like clockwork, it is like clockwork. There are very few times when I have something happen where it's like longer or shorter, space in between. I don't skip. I don't have heavy periods. Like it's just very, I don't even worry about it. I don't even honestly think about it. So it's just in my calendar so I can schedule around my workouts. But, I'm getting older. I'm 38. So eventually stuff will start to change again. And I'll start to have like differences start to happen with my hormones. And so I have friends who are a little bit older than me in their 40s, 44, 45, early 40s. And so I just, am being mindful and aware of that now so I can notice any changes or differences as they start to happen and there be no surprises because I don't like surprises. And then I will readjust and I'll relearn. And I think about, and I can't even consider, what my mom's menopause and perimenopause was like, because she has always had a lot of issues with her cycle. And because I haven't, I'm like, I don't know if ours would be the same because we just haven't had the same experience. And so for me, I feel like it's going to be a whole new adventure, kind of all on my own. So I got to figure that one out, but it's not happening yet. And I'm still very consistent. Everything's just very consistent. Oh, so good. And so that I know will be like the goal for next year so that I can increase and improve. It will also be helpful for my professional goals and professional work, which is around like marketing and being more involved in those communities. I feel like my sound baths are going really well, to be honest with you. Yesterday, so I do a weekly sound bath at Evolve. I do full moon, new moon sound baths at Evolve Yoga Lounge and at Bewitched Denton. I'll probably start doing more sound baths once we expand a little bit further over at Bewitched, and I'll probably do more theme ones over there. Like I have a chakra series that I like to do. I have ones that are related to specific topics. Mine are usually either going to be um, love and self-care, cleansing and clearing, connecting to abundance, and then like shadow work, inner work. Oh, I thought it was starting to rain. I was like, no, eventually you have to stop so I can go on my run today. So I feel like those are doing well. And then during the summer, I do the sound baths with 7 waves at the pools or at the events or wherever she has them. So, but that's seasonal really for me. And then I do, of course, I have my grief circles and I do sound at grief circles. And I do a very short sound bath, about 5 to 7 minutes. I really want to get it to a good 10 minutes during my Embark 75 so that the students are getting like a full meditation, sound bath, and movement practice. But yeah, so I feel good about the sound baths. I do my tarot readings. I do a lot of tarot readings and I have consistent days with that. I think it'd be nice to do a couple more events, but it doesn't have to be a priority. And then I am expanding my products. So that's probably something I want to get to do more markets. At least like 1 market a month would be good, I think. And then we're doing more bigger events. So things like retreats and workshops and facilitation. But I do so much facilitation now. That was my goal for this year, was to do more facilitation. And that's what I do. I do a lot of facilitation of stuff and classes and things. But I'm doing more of that and in a different capacity a little bit in 2026. And I really want to do, I want to do retreats. I've talked a really long time, probably made up for all that time I missed. So I don't know if y'all see me anymore today, if I'm really honest with you, because it is my off day. I'm just going to write. I'm going to go on this run. I'm going to hang out at the house. I'm going to chill. I'm going to do some work on my personal stuff, do some work on my goals. I do need to record a video and we're going to see if that happens today because I am very, very tired. But it will happen at some point this week. So anyways, that's going to be all. I will see y'all maybe later. If not, then I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Good morning, good morning. I'm very quickly just going to say hello. How's it going? It's me, Camila Rowe. It is so nice to see you. I went on a run this morning. Greatest mistake of my life, but it was fantastic. I feel so good now. I'm heading to my weekly meeting. We are meeting today. We're going to talk about 2026, which is a very nice feeling. I released a video today on the Bliss Institute channel. Go check that out. If I can link it, I'll put it somewhere in there. I need to clean my house so I can get ready for the fam. Let me tell you about the run this morning though. So y'all, I get out there. And I'm like, oh, this is great. Let's go on our little run, whatever. It is literally freezing outside. It is so freaking cold. I was so sad. I was like, oh my God. And now I'm wondering if I should wear my green earrings instead, but I don't know. I'm not sold on that. I could not believe it. I was just like, are you kidding me? It was so cold that I started running almost immediately as soon as I got outside, which I never do. I usually walk a half a mile and then I start running. I couldn't do it. I was like, it's too cold. If I don't run now, I'm not going to make it. So then I get out there, I do the run. I usually stop at 2 miles on Wednesday. I went ahead and did the whole 3 miles and then ran the other little half a mile to get back to the starting point because I was like, I have to run. It is too cold for me not to run. So I did my longest run today. And I'm like, this cold weather sure is a great way to start training for a longer run. So I think that's what, you know, we're getting the support. We're getting the like heads up, like, heck yeah, let's do it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm about to head to this meeting and then I will come back and clean and start getting the house ready for my family to get here tomorrow. And then I need to write. And that might be everything for today. I'm going to take a nice long bath. Oh my gosh, that hot shower afterwards. Everything. All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye. All right, hi, we're back. I hope you enjoyed the little bit of vlog footage that I had. Let's get into how I did this week, which was not great because when I tell you I was in vacation, I need a break, it's holidays, I'm with my family mode, I was there. So for week 23, this is a writing challenge. So you know we start with writing. Did I write every day? No. You want to know how many days I wrote? 1K a day? 3 days. Now I did write more days, but I did not write 1,000 words a day. I wrote on Sunday 125 words. On Monday, I wrote 1,403 words for my Venus Intensive workshop, and then I wrote 53 words on the Venus Intensive. On Tuesday, I wrote 1,036 words on the Venus Intensive workshop. On Wednesday, I wrote 1,042 words on the Venus Intensive. And then on Thursday, I wrote 239 words. I didn't write anything on Friday. And on Sunday, I wrote 80 words. Saturday, I wrote 80 words on the Venus Intensive for a total of 3,979 words, which is only 56.84% of my 7K. This is quite possibly one of the worst weeks that I've had so far. I think the only one that can beat this one would be that first week when I was finally starting to track, when I wrote, oh, nope, not even that one. Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough week. But you know what? I realized I have been meeting that goal for almost the entire 6 months. So I said, you know what? We need to build in some breaks because once I started getting, it's week 23. I have 4 weeks left. We're in week 24 now. I was like, we're not going to cut it. And I think I'm only going to week 26. So I was like, we definitely have to cut this back a little bit, build in some extra breaks and things like that into this routine. Let's get into the rest of my tracking. So for editing, I did work on, as I said, the Venus Intensive. I did some working on it for 5 out of the 7 days. I didn't work on the night ritual at all. For my professional, I posted content every single day. I didn't work my 2 hours on Thursday and Friday, took those days off. So I worked 5 out of 7. I didn't do any of the outreach or the emails or the working on the query or attending author events at all that week. For spending, I only tracked my spending 2 out of the 7 days. So everything is very low this week. Not a very successful week during the holidays. For my 4 miles, I did walk 4 miles every single day. So 4 out of 7, I did my running 3 out of the 7 days. So I met my 3 out of 3 for that. For weight training, I only did 1 time. For my Stanleys, I drank my Stanleys every day. I actually missed taking my vitamins on Thanksgiving. I guess I got distracted. And then I went to sleep by 10:30 on 3 out of the 7 days. So a great decrease from the week before. Then for my long walk, I ended up doing 6 miles on that Tuesday. My family arrived on Thursday. So by Wednesday, I was starting to really kind of get into the mix of having to get everything ready for when they would be here. No socials before 9, 7 out of 7. No socials after 9, 6 out of 7. That Saturday, I was up a little bit late and was on the socials. Read for 30 minutes. I did 3 out of the 7 days, which is about the same as what I did last time. And then for play 2 times a week, I did 3 out of the 2 that I'm supposed to do because it was good family time. So I got to just enjoy myself a lot. Tuning forks. I did tuning forks 5 out of the 7. I missed that Wednesday and that Saturday. For ancestors, I did 5 out of the 7s. I missed Friday and Saturday. So as you can see the pattern of like, hey, it got into the weekend and the family time and it just didn't happen. Meditation, I did that 7 out of 7. And I did take my 3 spiritual baths. So it wasn't terrible. But it was definitely, you could see the impact of the holiday. You could see the impact of me also. I wrote so much the week before. And I think I was starting to head towards burnout. I'm finding even this week on week 24 that I'm having a little bit of a difficult time really kind of keeping up with like, hey, you need to be writing, you need to be doing this, because my social battery was just trashed. And I'm just now kind of starting to get back into the groove of things just in time to probably be ready for Christmas, where it'll be more holiday and more disruption to my schedule, and then New Year's. So we'll see how it goes, because we're heading towards that last week and the last couple of weeks in this 185 Insane Challenge. And I am excited to give you all the breakdown of how everything ends up going in the end. So thanks for watching week 23. I will see y'all later. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great one. Bye.